Okay, y'all come on in. I'm going to give you a few seconds. Oh, my head is looking. Okay, I'll give everybody a few seconds. I just saw myself in the camera. I am streaming a little bit different on YouTube, so y'all let me know if you can see me okay. For some reason, it told me to turn my camera to landscape, so I just want to make sure that you're able to see me. So I will give everyone a few seconds to go ahead and log to get in. But happy Friday, and then we'll get started. I just want to go over three things that I put in my garden journal during this portion of the year that helps me every year to determine how I plan my garden year after year. And so I want to be able to share that with you. So while everyone is getting logged in on YouTube and Instagram, let me first send my apologies because I saw a lot of people clicking on the link for the email that I sent out. And I think they thought I was going live then, and I actually forgot to put the time in. But if you've been following us for a while, we always go live Monday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and then Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for everyone that's joining us on YouTube, just let me know if you're able to see me okay, because I'm doing it in a different format. Hello, Garden in Georgia. How are you? Hello, Feathered Sunsets. How are y'all doing today? And while we're getting ready to get started, on Instagram, make sure you click the link in the bio because you can watch series one free for the Ready Set Grow series. But I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to pin it up to the top on YouTube so that you guys, after we're done with this, you can click on the link and make sure you go watch it because it's for a limited time. So y'all just forgive me for a minute because I'm going to have to mute it so that you don't hear feedback. But I do want to put this link in the chat over on YouTube. Let's see if this is going to work. And let's pin it to the top. Yes, it did. Okay, so for all my YouTubers that are joining us on YouTube, make sure that you click the link. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Happy Friday to you all. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us here live. So if you're new, I'm Ayana of Southern Entertaining, and what we do is we want to show you to stop imagining about a garden that you wish you had, and we want to help you create one. Now, if you want to know about all the deals, the tricks, the gardening tips, and techniques that we have, make sure that you text 40 Let's Grow to 474747. That's Let's Grow, LETSGROW to 474747. I'm not going to tell y'all everything now, but I have a special that is coming up, and it will only be for my email subscribers and my text message subscribers. I won't put this on social media because it's really good. And I always tell you there are some perks to being on the email list, being on the text message list, because sometimes we do offer different things and we give certain tips out because we definitely appreciate you. So hello, Angela. Hello, Maureen. How are y'all doing today? Just let me know if you could see me okay because I'm streaming in a different format today. And so I just want to make sure you all can see me. Yes, if you are not a subscriber, but you have to be on the email list and also but on the email list and or the text message list, and then you'll be notified. So I thought I would share this with y'all because of the simple fact that I have been doing a whole bunch of walking through the garden, and I'm actually starting to get ready for fall. I'm planting seeds. I'm seeing where things are and should be going for the fall, because y'all know I tell you it's a very hard decision for me because we're down to like the mid 80s now. And so by us being in the mid 80s, Our peppers are taken off, our cucumbers are taken off, our tomatoes are taken off, but it's I also need to get some things planted for the fall. So it's always a real tough transition for me doing this during this time, but we're going to make it happen because we actually got some grow bags that we purchased that I'm just going to have to work it out. But I'm saying that to say, so I want to share with you three things that I always put in my journal. Now, remember, as the season is coming to an end, I'm also writing some things down because no matter how many times we say that we're going to remember it or I'm going to make a mental note, we tend to forget it. But when you put things in your garden journal, it does not have to be fancy. It could be a regular notebook. You just want something that you can come back to. So when we put things in our garden journal, that will help us to go back and plan every single year. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. So I was walking through the garden today. I'm writing down in my journal what plants work this year, especially if I've tried a new one this year. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I tried these new pentas. They're red, and I didn't think I would like them, but I ordered them online, and I am in love with them. Not only are they very beautiful, they provide a beautiful backdrop, they provide a lot of color to the garden, but when I tell you the pollinators are all over those pentas, I'm talking about bees, butterflies, hummingbirds. Like I've seen so many beneficial pollinators that are around these pentas. So I wrote in my garden journal next year, and what I like to do also is I like to write down the variety or the brand, because a lot of garden centers, they may just bring in something to try for that year to see how the sales were, to see if people liked it, and they may not bring it in again. So sometimes you may have to go online and order like that variety from another company. So I like to put the variety of what has done well in the garden, and I also like to put like the benefits of it. Like I just had to write that every time I go out there to those pentas, somebody, really, the bees and the butterflies, like they're all on it. If you've been following us on Instagram, like we did a story where the butterflies are all over the pentas. So write down, especially if you're trying new plants, write down what worked. What did you like about it? Because when you're planning your garden for next year, this is going to help you plan. I'll give you another example. No matter what, I don't care what I plant, marigolds are going to go in my garden each year. So I just might as well make space for them because they just have to be there. Not just for the color, and they're all different types of varieties. Not just for the color, but for the benefits, like companion planting. They help with pest control. So in my journal, no matter how I'm planning, I have to make a spot for marigolds. But you also want to put things in there that didn't work. We tried a new cucumber variety. When I tell you this cucumber variety grows slow as molasses, it's growing, but it's just very slow. And so I put that variety in there. I put what I don't like about it. I also noticed that, me personally, I don't think it's really for our zone, because about 10 o'clock every day is not, it's not that it's dying, but you know how when the sun hits it and it's real hot and it's real humid, like the leaves will sometimes look wilted. And remember, I told y'all, as long as they come back at the end of the day, then they're okay. They're just like conserving their moisture. And I mean, it's watered. I stuck my finger down in there, but every day from about 10 to 5, the leaves wilt. They come back when it cools off, but it just grows so slow. Like it has maybe like 2 cucumbers on there, and I'm like, what is the problem? Now, I'm not going to write it off as I'm not going to grow it again, because it could be like where I placed it at. And that's another thing that I write in the journal, because there are plants that I've bought twice in a year. Twice, well, like I'll buy one season, then it doesn't do good, so I may buy it or start seeds the next season. And if I put it somewhere else and it still doesn't do good, I'm just like, you know what, maybe it's not good for this region, so I just won't keep, I can try something else instead of just like trying to get that to work, because we're all in different growing zones. And so what may be hard for me or just doesn't do well here, it may thrive to one of you who's in another gardening zone. So the first tip is, you want to, as the season is coming to a close for summer, you just want to go through the garden and you want to write down all the things that not only worked and why, but you also want to write down what didn't work and why. Put the benefits on there, put what you observed. And so that way, when you're starting to plan or get seeds, then you will know, okay, what worked the best for me. So this is what I'm going with this year. Now, we always try stuff. We have like a test area, but I just like to put that down just in case I have a spot that I haven't filled. I'll go back and I'll say, you know what, those pentas were the bomb last year. I am going to grow those again. I promise y'all, I'm growing them again, and I may just expand because they did just that good. They the heat, the humidity, they did not waver at all. And I mean, we had some pretty hot days too, but those pentas, they were amazing. And what I'll try to do for Sunday is just put out a quick video of maybe like 3 plants that really did well. Now, again, it may not be the right plant for your area, but this is just to give you some ideas and give you some thoughts. So the second thing I like to write down in my journal is about pest. How was pest for that year? What did I notice? Did I have an increase in pest? Just different things like that. If I grew a certain vegetable or a certain herb, was I having problems with it? What type of problems? What did I have? What type of pests did I have? And the reason why I say that is because when you look online and when you kind of do research on a plant that you're going to grow, if you start some from seeds, they're more better at putting that information on there. But a lot of the plants were bred to fight certain diseases and certain insects. So if you know that you had a lot of, we'll use the squash bugs. If you had a lot of squash bugs that year, then you may want to look for a variety that says, it's very slow to get, or it's been bred to kind of fight like the squash bugs. And the reason why I say that is because let me knock on wood before I say this, because I don't want to see them, y'all. Y'all see me close my eyes. I don't want to see them. This year we did not have a real big problem with white flies, but in other years we've had problems with it. Sometimes it may be what you're growing. Sometimes it may be like the environmental conditions that you have, but it's always good to write down the different pests that you have observed, what they were doing, how you treated it, and then just go from there. And also just look for varieties that are that can kind of combat, or resistance. That's what I meant. That's the word I meant to use, resistant. A lot of the plants will say resistance to powdery mildew or something like that, especially for areas with hot and humid. You definitely want to get plants that are kind of resistant to the powdery mildew. Is not to say that you won't have it, but it'll just kind of help. So another thing I write in my journal, I just say, okay, what pest did I observe this year? What did I do for it? When I treated it, how did everything go? Like, did I have to treat it for a long time? Did I have to pull the plant? Y'all know I've told you sometimes if it just gets to a point to where it's just, I feel like it's not going to bounce back, I will choose to pull the plant. I will choose to pull that plant. So think about things like that. Just think about the different pests that you have, and that will help you make your decisions too on what you want to plant. Now, tell y'all, I have not given up. I haven't. But those squash vine borers, let me tell you, they they come and they do damage and they wreak havoc, and it's okay because I'm going to figure out the variety to grow, and then I'm also going to choose a one that's, I don't even know if they have squash and zucchini like resistance to squash vine borer, because I hear a lot of people have that issue. Hello Devin, how are you? So glad to see you again as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're just going over, for everyone that's joining us on Instagram and YouTube, we're just going over three. Hello, Growing with Donnie, how are you? We're just going over three things that I always write in my garden, especially during this time of year as I am transitioning over. So the first one is I just go and write down all of the things that I like, what grew well in the garden, what didn't grow well in the garden, and then I just write down, just, you don't have to write a book about it, just where you can know what you're talking about. So however you want to write it, you write it how you know what you're talking about. So what did I like about it? What were the benefits? I didn't see the next one. I didn't see a whole lot of pests when I grew this, or I had pests, it was on this plant. I treated it with this, and maybe after 2 treatments, it went away. You want to do things like that. I'm telling y'all, is going to help you decide how you're going to plant your garden and what you're going to plant in your garden year after year. So I always do that. Now, number 3, I did not write it down. I had like 5 things and I said, we're not going to be on here long. Number 3. What was number 3, y'all? Oh my goodness. I write down everything, and then we do the pest control. I'm gonna come up with it, y'all. I'm gonna come up. Let me tell you, one of the ladies, we did a Zoom, and she told me, she said, "You look so tired, y'all. I have been working some very, very long hours. I actually stopped working so that I could get on my live, because I know that Monday was a holiday and we didn't get live, and then Friday also, we went out of town last Friday, so we didn't do live, and I was like, I'm going to do my live today. But what else do I write? What else did I say I write in my garden journal, y'all? I know we write the pests down, and we write, it's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to, it's gonna come to me in a minute. I cannot believe it. I was so totally like, normally I'll jot down some notes so that I don't forget, but I was thrown off. And again, for all of you who are on my email list, I'm so sorry, because I saw people clicking the links and I forgot to put the time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until it comes up, we are just going to see, has anyone, I want y'all to write it in the comments. Hey Sherry, how are you doing today? I want y'all to write it in the comments if you're able. Have you started your fall garden? I have been planting seeds. I told you we're going to start succession planting this year so that I don't overwhelm myself, and so that we can have a continuous supply this whole fall/winter garden. So have any of you, put it in the comments below, have you started fall gardening? And also, for you just joining on YouTube, I pinned a comment at the top. It's for a limited time. Make sure you go and watch the Ready Set Grow series. Series number 1 is for free, because this is the time of the year that a lot of people really they really start thinking about the fall. But it's just some things that you have to know. And I only say this because we're all in different zones. And what I'm doing right now, like some of our gardening friends up in zone 4, like they may have started what I'm doing now maybe like a month ago. So it's going to go over like all of the basics. It's free. I pinned it up on YouTube, on Instagram. Y'all make sure that you click the link in the bio and click on the first tab, and that way you'll be taken and you can go watch that one for free as well. As I think about number 3, y'all, I write so much in my journal. You're probably like, that's too much. Now she's just going too far. But I just want to be exact on it. But we have started our fall garden, and we talked about the pests. Did I put them? I might have combined 2, where I say write the benefits and what you liked about it. Like all of that really is what did well, what did we like. Oh yeah, and the pests. So See what I'm saying? I am going to take some time to relax. That was 3. What did well? The benefits. Thank you so much. Let me tell y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all are amazing. You're amazing. So let me read them. Um, what did well in the garden? What did we like and didn't like? And like why? And then also about the pests. Thank you so much, Growing with Donnie. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Angela planted seeds to transplant. Need to clear out 10 bed, but eggplants have started putting on more fruit. And see, Angela is also in zone 9, so she understands this is really a hard transition time. What could we do better, and what didn't taste good? That's a good one, Growing with Donnie. Giving us another tip. That is so true. If you are growing, just say vegetables, what didn't taste good? And that is, yeah, and I had maybe like a couple. Like I'm not growing this anymore because it just, I mean, for the space it put up, it just wasn't hitting like I wanted to. But I tell you what, the bell peppers were really really good and just fresh for me. The purple ones. Do you have a specific journal to use? Gardening in Georgia? No, I don't. I'll tell y'all, like a lot of times now, what I'll do is like I'll go to places like TJ Maxx or Marshalls. They have really reasonable and really pretty journals, but don't think you have to go and do that. What I started off with is, those spiral notebooks that after the kids have started school and they put the school supplies on sale and they mark them down to like 19 cents. Like I'll grab up a bunch of those. Like I've journaled in whatever I can put my hand on and go back and just reference and just reference over time, especially during those winter months when things have slowed down. The garden is growing, but it's growing very slowly, and we have a little downtime. That is when it's so great to go and just go back over your notes. Go back what you've written down. Now, what I'm going to tell y'all is what I always do. I don't know about you. Y'all put it in the comments. Um, Hello, Desi GT. How are you? Hello, the Stay at Home Life. How are you? I always, like right now, while we're in fall, I am ordering my seeds for next spring, summer, because a lot of the varieties that people are going to want, they're going to be sold out because everybody's like, oh, garden season is about to begin. Let me go online and order. Now, let me say this, excuse me. Certain seeds are that's why you have to find like a good seed company where you're pleased with the germination rate. Because although I'm buying seeds for next spring, like there's certain companies, time after time, no matter what, they germinate. The germination rate is great. But now is when I start buying, like now between October, November, and sometimes I'll give myself a Christmas present in December and order some more seeds, because once people are starting to think about gardening season, a lot of those varieties that you may have written down in your journal or that you wanted to grow, a lot of them may be sold out. So you have to think about that. That's if you want to start from seeds. Now the transplants, you'll probably have a little better luck because at most of the garden centers they come out hours, because I have to learn the routes. Okay, I have to learn the routes for these people. They come on a bi-weekly schedule, and they come on Wednesday. About Wednesday around 11:30, it's when they come. Learn the routes. Learn when they bring the new plants. Learn that, y'all. So, thank y'all so much. But that is definitely a good one, and I didn't even think about that one. Is the taste, especially if you're growing, even if you're growing herbs, like if you're trying a new herb or something like that, also write down the taste, how fresh it was, write all of those things down. So I'm going to go through the comments and we're just going to recap real quick, because I know I tell y'all every single week we're not going to be long, and I just get on here and I get started because I just love being on here talking y'all about the gardening. So, and we do have a lot of people that are getting ready for the fall Garden, it definitely beats going back to watch all those past videos. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I've been keeping a journal, y'all, for years. And like I said, during the winter, I would just sit down and I'll just start reading different things. I finally got my 2022 Gardening Almanac in, so I just want to sit down and read through that because one thing I am noticing is last week I told my family, I said, I feel fall coming in. Now y'all know we are in zone 8B, and normally we will start to feel fall around, I would say, about the first or second week in October. But I notice it's like very cool. And this is the season. This is what I tell my kids. This is what I tell everyone, especially when you're going through that transition. You have to be careful about how you dress because in the morning times when it's cool, you need a jacket. Don't go outside with no shorts on and no tank top. Although it gets hotter during the day, you have to be careful because this is when a lot of people get sick. And then for us, what makes it even worse is ragweed is very high right now. So I can feel it. I can feel the ragweed. And I have just been going outside in the morning, snipping me some herbs, okay, y'all? And I've been making a tea with it. That's why I tell people if you want to grow something, like if they're unsure what to grow you some herbs. It's so many things you can do with it. But I have really been snipping like rosemary and my holy basil, different things like that. Our hibiscus, you could tell when the like you can tell the nights and the days are getting shorter. All of this stuff comes into play. But y'all just be careful because this is the season. I just used to tell my kids this all the time. They still think it's summertime. And while it is not yet officially fall, but for some odd reason this year, fall seems like it's coming in a little bit earlier, just a little bit. So that's why I want to go read my almanac for 2022 just to see what they say. But these are all things that you can write down in your journal as well, because like what I wrote down is I said this year we had some very rainy weather. Because of this rainy weather, we had some problems with our cucumbers getting powdery mildew because at some days it was 100% humidity here. And I wrote down the variety. It's just little things like as you continue to journal, you will start to write down things that like click when you read it so you'll know how to plan. So Desi G2, I wrote down what happened during the season. Yep, so far I know we will get 3 weeks of rain. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Desi GT. Just write those things down. And like I said earlier, this year, I'm gonna knock on wood, this year we didn't really have a problem with white flies. And so I try to correlate, okay, what's going on with the weather. I'm glad we didn't have any white flies because they are a nuisance. But I said, okay, that's good. But all of those things will start to come together. We started seeds today, and I just picked up some transplants from the nursery. Yeah, they're gonna start putting out a lot of your fall herbs. A lot of your. Let me tell you, our garden center is still putting out new batches of tomatoes and peppers, and it's okay because normally we could do up to about November, here. But I'm telling you, it just seems like a little bit cooler, quicker this year than normal. So yeah, that definitely makes a difference. I wrote down in my journal that it rains for 3 weeks in August. I wrote down the plant profile. Yes, sunlight exposure and my wish list. Yes, Desi GT. That is what I'm talking about. I'm also going to sow some more okra too. I just dropped some potatoes in and they're taking off. The stay at home life. Let me tell you this real quick, and y'all don't be judging me because of this. So, we planted potatoes earlier this year in a grow bag, and I pulled out some, and I forgot about the other ones, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back. Well, they started coming up out the grow bag again, and I was like, okay, see, you gotta stay on stuff. You gotta stay on it. But yes, um, and let me just say this too about okra. I saw this in one of the groups for all of you who are growing okra. This is how I plant my okra year after year. So as you know, okra is very fast growing. If you don't get out there like the day or the next day, it will take off. So this is what I do when I forget to pick my okra and it has gotten too big, because it's going to be very fibrous and you're not going to want to eat it. Now, you don't want to do this too. I kind of wait till the end of the season to do it, but I have two okra plants, well, two okras. So one is the regular Clemson okra, and then one is the red okra. So I didn't pick them, okay? I didn't pick them. But what I do, since we're going into the fall season, I'm going to let those two okra stay on there. They've gotten very big. I'm going to let them dry on the plant, and then I'll have seeds for next season. That's how I get my okra seeds every season. That's another thing too. If it's a variety you like, we get a lot of our plants like open pollinated plants. Now, a lot of people ask me about seed saving, and I do encourage it. But if you're getting a hybrid, what you have to remember is it may not come back true next year. It may take on whichever parent genes, I guess, are dominant. And the reason why I know this is because I'll never forget that I bought a lunchbox pepper plant from the garden center one year. This was such a great example, and it just like clicked. So I bought the lunchbox pepper, but the very first pepper that fruited was a full size bell pepper. So that let me know it was a hybrid. So I do save seeds, but the hybrid ones, they may not come back true to what they grew like the year before. But like the Clemson okra, they come back every year, like year after year, with the okra. And it's just because they get so big. I just forgot to take, I didn't forget. I probably just said, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then when tomorrow, it was just too big. It was too big to eat. And what I have been doing is blanching them and then putting them in the freezer. That's how we're storing our okra, because I'm not an okra lover. I just grow it for my mom, and I grow it for my youngest daughter, who they love it. They love it, but I grew it for them. I planted my okra seeds first. Now I'm going to direct sow for the fall so I can have lots of okra. Yeah, they're good, but I'm telling y'all, yes. I can tell y'all some stories about okra, but we won't even get into that today. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go through the comments real quick, because I just saw a good one, y'all. Hello, UT 33200. How are you? I definitely, you put out a video the other day that I definitely have to go and watch. It was about the tomatoes. You know, I love watching your videos because they do the tomato testers, okay? And some of the tomatoes that I tried was because of UT 33200. I just wanted to try it because they'll give you their honest opinion about how it tastes. And that was why I said it was so good. Thanks for that tip when you put down the taste of certain things. What doesn't grow well in my area is another thing I take note of. Yep, that's right. They call me sunshine. Yes, we've had a couple that I've tried 2 times, and I've tried in 2 different places, and I just said, you know what? It's just not meant to grow here, and that's fine. Although the tag says it's okay, I'm like, that's fine. I won't grow it anymore. Hello, Gardening with Bernie. How are you? Hello, Elizabeth. How are you? Zone 8 bought mustard red, giant, and garnet giant mustard transplants today to plant in this weekend. You're gonna love those, Betty. I'm telling you. Red mustard is definitely one of my favorites to grow. Not only because it's just pretty and it's pretty in the fall garden, but I like to add a lot to my salads and stuff too. 8 Moss Girl, Mansfield, Texas, is really enjoying the live. Thank you so much for joining us, 8 Moss Girl. Josie takes photos and note what did well in the different positions of the sun. Yes, some of my plants did not do well in full sun, but did better in partial sun. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that's how we have to think about it here. I told y'all the sun just does something here that I don't know. I don't know if it does it in other areas. It's a heat. It's some heat. You have to stay at home life. Mansfield, Texas is here too. 8 Moss Girl. But a lot of the plants that say full sun for us, they thank me sometimes for that afternoon partial shade. So you have to be careful about that, and that's why it's also, like she said, it's very good to journal that. So you'll know, especially if it's an annual, and especially if you plan on growing it again, and you know the benefits about it, then you know what place to put it in. So that is really good because I know a lot of them just don't do good in full sun, not for that long. At Betty, they call me Sunshine, wants to know where did you find those transplants? Growing with Donnie, I definitely got a few notes I need to write about in my garden. Yes, 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 we all do. Fall is approaching here in the Pacific Northwest, supposed to be in the 60s all next week. Yes, the stay at home life, the partial shade garden. I'm telling you, some of the plants that really held on for dear life summer, they are loving this weather. They are really taking off. It's like I see them coming back to life, like the Lysianthus that we have. Y'all, those purple flowers are everything. Now, in the summer, it was holding on. And it was like, how much longer am I going to have to deal with this? But they are just coming back and they're beautiful. And that's why I say like spring and fall for us is just best because even the peppers, even the tomatoes are starting to like kick back in gear. I'm telling you, they were asking me, y'all, how much longer are we gonna have to go through this? Because I don't know how much longer I can deal with it. But I think we're getting past that. I think we're getting past that stage. Um, my mom did not play about us wearing a coat and a jacket. Yes, growing with Donnie. Let me tell you, I can tell y'all some stories. And I used to, you know how people say you want to try to be cute and walk out there with nothing on your head or nothing on your arms. Now I see why they did it and why they said to do it. I see why. You get yourself sick real quick transitioning like that. You will. And let's see here. Yeah, the ragweed season is definitely here for us. Like I can feel it in the morning. I can feel it in my throat. I can just feel it. Hello, Veggie Farm Garden. How are you? Let's see. The Farmer's Almanac. Okay, so Dad says the Farmer's Almanac for Zone 4B said it's going to be extra cold and snowy. At least 12 inches behind on rain this summer. Ooh, boy. Boy, boy, boy. We're with you. Stay warm, Devin. Please stay warm. Um, how late can you plant okra? Elizabeth, okra for us is a heat loving plant. Now, me personally, now the stay at home life said that she would, and she's in Texas. So I'm just going to tell you it depends. Like if I were to plant it right now from seed, I would really, really, really be pushing it. And some things you have to remember is the variety, how long it takes to, you know how they say days to maturity, how long does it take? And then you also have to remember that the days and the sunlight, all of these things are starting to get shorter now. And then you got things a little bit cooler. So a lot of the things they're still going to be growing, but they're going to be slowing down just a little bit. The as we continue to approach the fall. But what I can tell you is just depending on where you're at. I'm not sure, but look for the dates of maturity. Um, and then also just look at your zone. But I know that okra, they love the heat. They love the heat. Now they're still kicking, doing good. But we actually planted our okra plants in May, and but they're like a workhorse. Like okra, again, with and the stay at home life just said the Texas sun is different. So see, she can plant okra and do another round and still have enough time and still harvest it for us. And again, it just depends on the variety. But what I can tell you is okra is one of those ones that seriously you can just, I'm not going to say for everyone, but for me here, like they're heat tolerant, I can just plant it. Like I don't have to baby okra. I can just let it grow. Just make sure you continue to harvest it because they seriously grow. Like if you look at it one day and say, I'm going to go get it, like the next morning, it has grown so much. So much. They grow so fast. So it just depends on where you're at. Did I lose my, okay, I'm just going through the questions. Can you dry the okra seeds off the plant? Yes, Veggie Farm Garden. I've done that too. So, but what I did is I let it stay on a little bit, and I have taken it. Like I didn't cut it off when it was too big, like fresh. I just let it stay on a little bit more. Like it didn't get all the way dry because with these, I'm just gonna let them get all the way dry, like brown, like dry. But I have pulled them off and put them inside on, just somewhere, just out of, so that they can dry on their own. And I've tested it out. They've dried. I've planted them again, and they still germinated just fine for me. Because and especially if it's real early in the season, and you don't want that plant to continue to put energy in that okra that you know is too big. So maybe just give it a few days, like a week or something. Go ahead and cut it off, take it inside and let it dry. I've done them both ways, but I'm just going to let them stay on there now because, we're going into fall, but they're still like growing okra on there, but I'm just going to let those two stay on there as well. Okay, so Betty is in North Texas. Okay, Dallas, Texas. Okay, so she's seen the collard greens. Yes, yes, and y'all find out. Okay, find out when that truck runs, what day, and what time. Now you don't have to like help them get the stuff off the truck and see what they got, but you can, give them a few minutes. Go ahead and load the new stuff, uh, get the new stuff out, and the things that didn't do well, they take it back with them. Like they'll just take it and take it back with them, and then they'll keep going. But yeah, Wednesday around 11:30 for me is bi-weekly is when they normally is when they normally come. I plan on growing some ginger and turmeric because I drink a lot of ginger and turmeric teas. Yes, yes. And then you can dry it as well and use it in your tea. I started my collard greens. Yep. Oh, Hurricane Ida took away them, and I gotta amend my garden. Well, first of all, Big Mama's Garden, I'm so glad that you're here with us because um, I've just looked at different things, and that was a very bad hurricane. So I'm glad that you're here, and yes, you can still amend the beds and get started. Yep. I'm hoping that you can too. Yeah, because Growing with Donnie said, I hope you have enough time to get things started. Okay, working back on my garden beds. Yes. I've even noticed in zone 4B things are perking up because cooled off. Yeah, my peppers, bell peppers, yeah, are popping left and right. Yeah. And I know that, and that's why I try to explain to people, like I know that certain plants say heat loving and they like the full sun and this, that, and the other. And it just depends on the zone that you're in because tomatoes will kind of slow down when it starts getting into those mid 90s. They'll kind of slow down in growth because I'm telling y'all, a lot of our vegetables was like, look, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to take this weather, but now they are definitely appreciating it. They're appreciating it. So Eight Moss Girl had to cut her um, okra daily. Yeah, you really do probably should cut it. You really should probably cut it daily. You really should because they grow. When I say overnight, they grow overnight. But like I'm out there. I don't know if y'all are like that. Put it in the comments. Like I will go out there and I'll say I'm going to pick my butterfly pea flower seeds. That's what I'll say. Y'all done went out there and start watering stuff. Then I'll see something that needs to be like, I'll see some weeds that need to be pulled. And then I'll go out there and say, okay, let me check on this. And it's like 45 minutes later and I hadn't even did number one. And that's how the okra got away from me because I looked at it and I said, I'm going to go back in to get the scissors, but something caught my attention. And then I started doing something else. And when I went over there again, that's what happened. But yeah, you definitely. Okay, frost date is October 2nd. I'm hoping my zucchini and cucumber have enough time to finish up. I hope they do too, Growing with Donnie. I do hope they have been. The best feeling is arriving at the store when the truck pulled up. I'm telling you. I'm like, yes. How are you doing? And then I just go, walk around a little bit, give them a little time to put it on there, and all while I'm looking at what they're bringing down, because they have it and they bring it down. All while they done rolled off the rack and getting other stuff, like they'll roll one rack and go back on the truck, and I'm just steady looking. Collards are a hot commodity this year. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love the stay at home life. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back to who that was because I don't want to. Big Mama's Garden. The stay at home life from Instagram asked, "Did you need any seeds from the hurricane?" That is so that I'm telling y'all, this is why I do it, just for just the community and just just everybody helping each other out. I shaded my main garden and things started looking so much better. This summer was blatant. Yeah, Texas had some real I was hearing about all of the rain. Remember y'all had all of the rain and then just some other things going on in Texas too. Yes. Hottest, driest summer in 30 years. Now that is crazy. You still got bees, or do you have your own bees? Okay, so that's what Josie asks. Okay, I am the bee. I am the bee. Okay. The garden is full of distractions. I can never stay on task. Yes, and I do. Y'all know I try. I've tried to share with y'all like in your notebook or a task list or even just something to jot down. Like I try to say, okay, I'm gonna do these three things today, and it happens. It happens so easily because while you're working on those three things, you do get distracted because you're like, okay, I'm gonna just do it real quick. I'll do it real quick, and then I'll just get done. And I do it all of the time, and then I'll come back in, and I'm like, okay, let me get my scissors. I'm finna get this real quick. But but what I do is I stay on that list. Like I'll keep revisiting that list. Like, okay, go out here and do that. Like sometimes I seriously have to talk to myself. Don't look over there. Just go. Go and do what you said that was on the list. I have to do that. And Angela says she gets sidetracked too, but I have to get at least two of the beds cleared. Yep. Yep. Okay. And Devin said bad tomato year. I didn't know there are certain tomatoes that'll seal fruit over 85 degrees, trying to get those seeds in case it's crazy hot again next summer. Yes, and that is Devin, a lot of the tomato varieties that we tried this year, and I've already ordered more seeds from them because I really loved it. What like they were bred, like the company said they were bred at the was it the University of Florida, but basically they were bred for hot and humid climates. And they did. I will say that they lived up to it, but what it was is it was a semi determinate. So wait a minute, a semi indeterminate. So it put on like a big flush and then it started growing really, really, really slow. And I said, okay, that's enough now. I can put something else there. But yeah, a lot of the tomatoes they slow down, but I'm telling you, I got some, and that's why it's so hard. I got some that's really, really standing out and coming back. So, okay, y'all, I know we do this every time. Remember, I said I'm gonna give y'all the three tips. We got a bonus tip, and then here it is 47 minutes later. But for all of those that just joining us, the three garden tips, and thank you again for reminding me what they were, because I just combined them. So the first one is you want to, during this time, especially if it's annuals, write down all of the plants that you loved that did good. Okay, like I gotta have this. This is crazy, crazy beautiful. For me, it was the pentas. The pentas and the Thai basil, they'll be coming back. Now, I didn't like the Thai basil. I'm not a licorice lover, only because, but if you like licorice flavor, definitely grow you some Thai basil because it is strong. But it was just so beautiful. It grows so good, and the bees love it. Like I actually let it go to flower. So write down the plants that did really good. The second thing is you want to write down like if you had pest, what type of pest, what was the variety, and then you also want to write down like the benefits. Like okay, I like this variety, or I grew this, it did good, no pests, everything went good. So while you're planning for your garden, maybe like next year, then you can say, okay, I'm missing a spot. What can I put here? If you don't want to try anything new, then you can go back to your journal and say, you know what? I'm not only am I going to grow these pentas again, but I'm going to grow even more like that. And then the bonus, this was such a good bonus, is especially if you're growing vegetables. How was the taste? Was the taste good enough for you to grow it again? or you're like, it was okay, I'm gonna try something else, or I'll try a different variety, because there are certain, I will use this as an example. There are certain tomatoes that when I tell you, as soon as you slice them, it smells so good, it tastes so good, and it's just amazing. And then there's some that just, uh, some, the skin may be a little bit tough, and you're like, okay. And they're all different types of tomatoes. So that was a really good one. Like the ones that you grow, or even something new you try. Write down how you like the taste. Would you grow that again? Those are all things that you want to keep in your journal. And that's just part of it. But make sure, write it to where you understand it. I saw this gardener planting his tomatoes with a banana and an egg at the bottom. It grew so well. Yeah, because that was just like natural fertilizer right there. I always crush up the eggshells and put them with my tomatoes. And ever since I started doing that, I haven't had such a big problem with the blossom end rot either, just by doing that. Okay, thanks. But I evacuated with the okay. So the stay at home life, that was good. I gotta read Big Mama's garden, the stay at home life. She evacuated with a lot of my seeds and vegetables that I stored in the fridge. I put on ice and took with me. Didn't want to lose what I grew. I came back to cook some of my okra too. Big Mama's garden. Let me just tell you this. That is such a good idea, and I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna have to use that because for us, hurricane season isn't over here. And even when we evacuated a few years ago, I didn't even think to take my seeds, but that's really good. Y'all, I'm talking low because I know my husband in there listening. Like, I know she ain't saying she gonna take these seeds if she evacuate. I know she not, and I know he hear me. But that's a good one. That's a good one. That is such a good one. You better believe that's gonna be part of the evacuation right there. I love that. Gosh, I love that one. But I am glad that you're okay. I really am. Um, the blooms don't pay. You gotta pollinate before the bloom seals up. But after 24 hours, forget it. Okay. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Remember, on YouTube, the link is in the bio. Go watch series 1. On Instagram, click the first link in the bio and go watch series 1. You guys be safe. Have a great weekend. The passport, pictures, cash, and the seeds. Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, that is good. That's coming with me because I got a lot. So we just gonna have to load them up. We're just gonna have to load them up. Not sure if I gotta put them in my lap, honey. They coming. They are coming. I just put them in my lap and be uncomfortable. But you guys stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Again, Monday, if nothing happens, at 12 noon. Make sure, y'all, okay, make sure if you're not on our text list, text the word Let's Grow to 474747. Get on our email list or our text message list. Got something good coming up. Thank you so much, UT 3200. In a few minutes, I'm going to go and watch your video because I just love getting new varieties from you as well. So y'all be safe, and we will talk again soon. Bye, y'all.